Welcome to Sharing My Truth with Mel and Susie, the uncensored version, where we bear it all.
We do.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And we're back again. Hello, darling babes.
Hello, darling. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. It seems like an eternally long week.
It does seem like that.
I
can't believe it's just.
have
I'm
been
exhausted.
away.
Yeah.
I was in England, and to be fair, I was on a bit of a jolly. And so you have a bit of jet lag.
Yeah.
But then there's all these other things, like my daughter's at university and she's moving and trying to find an apartment, and it's all just completely mad. And my husband's like really, really busy, and I've got 1,000 things on. But it's all good. It's just blah, 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 blah. Lots of things going on.
I know. I have. Like,
not in a bad way.
I did a lot of
really.
drinking this week, and I wasn't supposed to drink this week because I was like not feeling great.
But
I just, because I had a bunch of events that I had to go to for work, and just like mingling and stuff, and just I can't. It's not like I can't do that without drinking, but drinking very much helps.
Of course, it does. Takes the edge
I'm not
off.
gonna fucking lie about it. You know,
let's be
it
realistic.
obviously just fucking helps, and a little glass of champagne.
Yeah,
Prosecco,
especially when you're
whatever.
somewhere where you don't actually really could think of a billion different places you want to be other than there.
Yeah.
Then of course drinking is very helpful.
Yeah.
And we're not talking. Nobody's an alcoholic here. If anybody gets on my case, it's just sometimes it takes.
Yeah, it just
the
takes a little edge off. And then, it's something to talk about. Everyone's doing it.
Absolutely.
I'm a fan of alcohol. Not an alcoholic, but obviously I'm a fan.
I like a drink. I am from England.
Let's just be honest about it.
The English drink way too much.
Anyway,
we
have a cute little topic today.
We do.
It
is called The Truth.
About?
The truth. It's always the truth.
The truth?
About the female orgasm. And I stress female orgasm.
Female or vaginal or vulva or the big O.
I don't know. I think just generically,
Right.
the female
Got
orgasm.
The female genital orgasm.
Yeah, the bit down there. Yeah.
Bits.
Yeah, because I think that we are talking about it a lot more.
Yeah.
In generically in the media, and I think we are talking about it a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
But it still seems to be an eternal mystery for people.
Yeah. It is, because it's a mystery to ourselves.
I think so. And I think it's interesting. Like I recently was watching, I like comedy, like stand up a lot. So I watch a lot of comedy on my phone or like Netflix or whatever. And if you watch a lot of female comedians nowadays, they inevitably that they talk about the orgasm and how the female orgasm, how it's like really complicated and blah, blah, blah. And I think it is very complicated for some people, and for some people it isn't complicated at all.
Right. Yes. I'm so jealous of those people who it's not complicated for.
Not like a big... The other thing to caveat this is that at different points in your life, it can be more and less complicated.
Right.
So it can be very difficult at some points, and then at another point in your life, it's not difficult at all. And that could be all a myriad of different reasons. And it's so difficult for men to understand, obviously, and I think that's the thing to obviously highlight, and this hasn't changed, is that a man has an orgasm. It's pretty obvious because, all the stuff happens. Yeah. And women, that's not the case.
Yeah.
And it can be so, like, just change what you're doing in a tiny millifraction of a thing, and then all of a sudden, ta-da! And that
it's incredible.
I don't think we talk about that at all. And that's why for often a lot of women, like, and the statistics are like unbelievable amount of women who do not either orgasm in their life or till incredibly late in their life, or very regularly, or whatever it is.
And orgasming is so healthy.
Yes,
it's like it actually obviously relieves stress.
Yes,
it
does.
Increases your endorphins. It's so healthy to come.
Mm-hmm.
And every person should do that regularly, whether it is with masturbation or with a partner.
They should.
You should want, like, it's just good health. Good for your mental health.
It is.
You know, like it's so important for a healthy, balanced lifestyle. Like it's about relieving stress, a lot of it,
100%.
a lot of the time.
100%. I was reading something the other day about how menopausal women also should be doing it more. And in fact, it's sort of an irony that that's the time in your life when you could have sort of be going one of two ways, either becoming more interested in sex or less interested in sex.
Wow, yeah.
It can actually be that much of a sort of divergence. That actually all the stuff that's going on, all the changes, that actually an orgasm can really help to relieve all of those changes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I mean, who knows? We're not men, so I don't know what do men actually feel. But women, obviously, it's much more of a whole
body
thing. Like the whole thing kind of releases. And that horrible thing, and men say it particularly, that woman needs to be, I'm not going to verbalize it because I think it's horrible. She's sexually frustrated and needs to sort of whatever. Yeah. There's an element of like, sexual frustration is a very real thing.
Yeah.
Just like everything
pent
in
up
your body. And
for a lot of people, it can be more extreme or less.
Absolutely.
Like,
absolutely.
It's just...
And if you find it very difficult.
Yeah.
And I think it is a vicious cycle. So I think there's a sort of group of women who have had sexual experience and they sort of think they're orgasming because it's like everything.
Yeah.
Until you've had the real, you're sort of like, is that it or is that not it? And they live a long time thinking, this is it. This is all that's going to happen. And then all of a sudden, randomly, because you happen to hit that spot, it happens.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. I don't know if I've talked about it on this podcast yet, but that's exactly what happened to me. I mean, I think I said, I have spoken about it where it's like, you know, I started having sex when I was 14 and at 18 I had my first orgasm.
That's a long time.
So that's 4 fucking years with having sex. And as a younger person, I've had sex with quite a few people. And at that point, because I was just like, you know, having a lot of fun, I was having sex with quite a few people, obviously always being safe about it. But yeah, and no one had ever tried, really. I didn't try. I didn't start masturbating until after I had that first orgasm. Because then I was like, oh, I get it. You know what I mean? But before you have that orgasm, you don't really know. And you're like, if you think you had an orgasm, you haven't had an orgasm.
Exactly.
Like if you think, I think I have. It's like, no.
Yeah. It's a bit like love.
You know.
When people say, are you in love?
You're like, I
and
think
you're
so.
like, how do I know if I'm in love? It's like, well, if you're asking that question, then you're not in love.
Yes.
It's either you know or you don't know. It's not logical. But yeah, but it is so wound up, the female orgasm in like history, and you know, society sort of didn't really think anything of it, or the women actually did that, or that was important. And then there's the whole Freud thing, which like blows my mind. This whole kind of idea of the immature and the mature orgasm, and that whether it was to do with your clitoris or penetrative sex. And I was reading it again before this podcast. I was thinking, God, that is so damaging.
Yeah.
This whole idea, because still, as a society, I think most men think that if their partner, whomever they're with, whether it's, you know, a casual experience or a long-term partner, if they don't have have an orgasm with penetrative sex, there's something wrong with them.
Yeah.
They think their basically dick doesn't work.
Right.
And you're like, no. It's like every woman is completely different.
Yeah.
And needs something completely different. And also, I reiterate, at different points in your life, different things work and don't work. For
absolutely.
Who knows what reason? I mean, it could be obvious medical reasons, or you've had a baby, or whatever it is. But there are also just, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It's not like, we're not building a suspension bridge here. There's no like engineer. It's like, there's no like real logical things happening. And
it's just so mental too.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Women especially, obviously, like there's things with men that obviously I can't speak to, but just women especially, like we need a safe environment to come. At least 100%. I do. Like I just need to feel relaxed. I can't feel rushed.
Yes.
I literally just need to feel like I can have the most fun and can have the most time.
Yes.
And that's why I'm not a morning sex person. I think we've spoken about this before. Like I can't have sex in the morning because I feel rushed and I can't usually orgasm. So like I just, I like
You
to
don't
take
feel
my fucking
comfortable.
time. And
feel
it's not, it's not a race. It's a journey.
Absolutely.
So, like, enjoy all of the different parts. Foreplay.
Absolutely.
Most of the way that women are going to come, they need 15 minutes of foreplay. That's just a fact. You need time to get ready.
Warm up.
Because it is so much of a full body experience. You
It
do need
is.
full body stimulation.
It is.
Whether that's, snogging, making
Snogging,
out.
very good.
Fingering.
Very good. You're becoming British.
I hope so. Little like oral, maybe a little foot play.
Foot play.
You never know.
Whatever floats your
Little
boat.
butt play. What do you need?
Yeah, whatever you need.
You got to figure it out.
Definitely. But I think that a lot of people don't. They do rush that. And
Yes, of
we've
course they
talked
do.
about this before. That I think personally, I don't know if there's any scientific, any whatever behind this.
Yes.
Is that men use sex to relax, whereas women need to be relaxed to have sex.
Yes.
And it's just like that's how we are diametrically opposed.
Yes.
Is that if my everything in the house or my life or my surroundings is not organized, it's just not happening. I just cannot. You just feel tense, immediately tense. Whereas men could be in a sinking ship with doesn't matter, and they're ready. I mean, it's incredible.
I know, it's amazing.
But it's fascinating.
They need to orgasm to just
Function.
do anything at all.
Function, yeah.
And also, I mean,
To
like
be
they
nice
should
people,
Yeah,
to
and
be fair.
I'm happy that you should if you're a man, you should be masturbating. Like if you come fast during sex, maybe you should masturbate before so you don't get so excited. Like that's just something that works for a lot of men,
Absolutely.
And you
But
got
a
to
lot
know
of
that
women
about your body.
Women have problems with that. I know
About male masturbating?
Yeah.
Males
Oh
masturbating?
yeah. I mean, the
Right.
famous scene we've talked about that before, about the scene in Sex and the City, the latest whatever the series was. I can't remember.
God,
the
I
name,
hate it.
where
Yeah.
Carrie.
Yes.
Yeah. Asked Mr. Big,
Mr. Big.
if he ever masturbated.
And it's just of
And
course
you're
he fucking
like,
has.
He's your husband. Like, what? But they did that for a reason, because actually a lot of women, I don't know, and I can't remember whether they've ever covered this in Sex and the City.
Yeah.
But a lot of women, it could be an age thing.
Yeah.
Because I certainly know women that I know who have a problem. Actually, no, saying that, I know actually younger women too, who think it's weird that their partner masturbates.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's weird that they think that's weird.
Yeah.
And you have that conversation. What do you mean? What do you mean? Like, huh?
Yeah.
Like, they're not cheating on you. They're just doing their thing. And why is it?
It's like
if
a
you're doing your
massage.
thing, and what I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
It's to me, it's like a bodily function. I don't
Yeah.
understand what the big problem is, but I know
And if it helps them become
personally,
a better person, then what's
lots
the
of women
problem?
who have problems
Yeah.
with their man masturbating because they think, well, if they're doing that, they don't love me.
They probably just need a good vibrator and then they'll understand.
Even if you own a vibrator, I am segueing here, you can always find new things.
Yes.
And I would like to stress, another thing I'd like to say, even though this has nothing to do with vibrators, is that everyone needs something different. So
Yeah.
even if you see, we're talking about Sex and the City,
Yeah.
and she was going on about the rabbit or whatever,
Yeah.
that doesn't work for all women. So women need different things.
Yeah.
It's completely individual.
Yeah.
And that goes back to what we're talking about.
I had a friend. She used to be a really good friend of mine. Not just we didn't have a breakup or anything. She just she
grew apart.
Yeah. Well, she just lives in a
You went
whole other part of the
separate
country. Yeah, exactly.
ways.
Miss her so much. But yeah, so she could come by just a man touching her nipples.
Wow.
And I am so jealous of that.
Well, are you? Because then
think
you might get yourself into situations.
I don't know. I would love to be able to come fast or be able just to have that option of just being able to get one out really fucking quick, if that's a possibility. I need a lot of time, which I think a lot of other women do. Or I need clitoral stimulation. I wish sometimes that I was a woman who could just come from penetrative sex because it's just the easier way to do it, you know? But
Yeah.
obviously, you got to know what works for you,
You
and
have.
you should make it happen. To make
You
the effort
have.
happen,
You
and
you
find
have.
a partner who puts
Yeah,
that priority.
and wants to kind of keep figuring out ways to
Yeah.
change it up or whatever. But I mean it is a problem for
Yeah.
a lot of people, and I think that's sad actually, that they feel that there isn't a way they can figure it out.
Yeah.
And that they would live so long in this sort of silence and misery and frustration. But I mean, there is another issue. If you are with somebody in a long-term relationship and they don't understand that you need something or whatever, and in many couples, they've gone for so long without communicating that you're however many years in, that starting the conversation is even more awkward than if you'd started it in the beginning, because it's just strange. Why are we suddenly talking about this now?
Yeah.
However, I wouldn't want to recommend anything that's going to cause any kind of issues, but you really do have to communicate. And the thing I think about communication, something I've learned in my life, is you don't have to achieve everything in the first, chat, if you like.
100%.
If you find it hard to express yourself, start slowly. And I think generally in any couple, one person is probably more communicative or finds it easier than the other.
Yeah.
And one person might initiate it. And it's also the onus is also on that person who finds it easier to make it easier for the other person.
100%.
To find a way of being kind and making it much easier for them to help to open their cells up.
I think there's something about like asking questions during and before and not finding it weird to ask questions. Like, I think a lot of people are like, oh, it's weird to like ask if, you can kiss me or something, you know what I mean, on that part. And it's like, no, if you make it sexy and you're not just like, can I kiss you? Or like, it's like, oh, like, do you like that? Or like, or communicating in the way of like, oh, I like when you,
I agree with that.
do blank. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, you have to, if you're going to talk in the bedroom, it should be kind of sexy. You can definitely ask questions about if they like something, if they don't like it. Like, it shouldn't be a scary thing of just like trying to communicate and want to.
I don't think it should be,
but
I think a lot of people find it very, very difficult.
Yeah.
And it depends who you're with. It depends who your partner is. And is your partner open-minded? Are they in a kind of the same space of thinking, right, we need to change something? And that is an issue often with couples.
Yeah.
Is one person is on one page and the other person is on the other page. And the difficulty of trying to, let's say you're the woman and you're not satisfied and it's not happening for you. And how do you break it to your partner that you might have been with for a long time, who's then going to think, oh my God, what have I been doing all these years? I mean, could be very hurtful.
Of course.
So you have to find a way of communicating that moves away from the hurtful and moves towards the, let's try this, or moving forward. But again, that conversation doesn't have to be resolved in that first conversation. And if that first conversation is 10 minutes and then you have another conversation that's an hour and on it goes, and it could take a very, very long time. Yeah. But you have to start, but you also have to be very aware of the other person. Yeah. And I think, to be honest, that's why lots of people don't communicate. It's just so hard. Yeah. It's so difficult.
Because it's not an awkward thing, but it can very much become a very awkward thing if you let it. Like, it's not by any means an easy conversation, and not even for me. Like, it becomes, you don't want to, because you also don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. You're so vulnerable, and like, you don't want your feelings hurt. It's just, it can be a very scary thing. But I think, you try to have these intimate times with people you trust, or like, you try to find positions that work for you, even if you don't want to talk about it, kind of. You can try to find, move your body in a way that might feel better, and then find out that way. But everyone's bodies are different. Yeah.
Yeah, but you do need to know yourself quite well.
100%.
To know, this may sound ridiculous, but that you have to move. You have to change the way you are, change your position, change many different things. Yes. And I think that comes with experience. And I don't mean necessarily partners just without doing it, right? Yeah. With figuring yourself out. And like I said, the other thing is, particularly women, you change. Yes. Your body changes. You need different things at different points for different reasons. I think sometimes maybe overanalyze that. But I think now the conversation around the female orgasm has almost become like I don't think we talk about it in a sort of normal context. I think, I've seen like a lot of these documentaries on Netflix and stuff like that. And you're like, this doesn't really relate to like normal people. It's a bit too sort of out there or too much, or like it's just,
it's hard to find content out there, or like especially on mainstream like platforms like that are like very relatable to every single person, because there's a lot of like very out there topics that like it is very interesting to watch or like know about, but it's very much,
and
I don't know.
On that subject,
are we ready for Mel's fact check?
Glamour magazine.
Oh, I love Glamour.
So here's some facts for you about the female orgasm.
Okay, I'm ready. Mel's fact
2020, but I don't think too much has changed. The orgasm keeps breakouts at bay. Wow.
Stop.
Oh
So if you want your skin good,
everyone,
you need to fucking come.
A vibrator.
I love it.
Actually, that makes a lot of sense to me. That really does.
Yeah.
So since orgasms release oxytocin, a hormone that accompanies pleasure, and decreases cortisol, which signals stress, you're less likely to break out or get rashes if you're enjoying regular orgasms over time.
No way.
I mean, that's a bit unfair for people who, might have
bad skin
for other issues. But anyway, that is good to know.
Well, I mean, anything will help. I will try an orgasm to help that.
It's true. Orgasms can increase body confidence. Yeah, I mean, that
makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense. Orgasms help you sleep better. I think that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Your brain gets a workout during an orgasm. Does it?
Wow.
We found that orgasms increase blood flow. So many brain regions that the brain lights up like a Christmas tree.
When you're having an orgasm.
Increased blood flow means that the brain is getting a wonderful and nutritious workout.
I love that.
Wow. Nutritious workout. Love that. Orgasms lead to healthier hair. I guess it's all to do with stuff
hair,
moving.
Skin, and nails.
Yeah. I mean, who needs those supplements?
For your collagen, I'm sure, like the collagen or something. Makes you feel young again, I'm sure.
And they're all good, but so we'll just do that too. Orgasms boost estrogen.
Yes.
Estrogen.
I know you said that for me.
And collagen, and give you a more youthful appearance. Yes, because you look more
glowy. You're glowing.
Plumped up. Orgasms boost your immunity. Really? It helps balance your immune system, promotes bone health, and assists in repairing tissues. Wow. This is all...
Wow. Everyone needs to come.
I mean, this is according to Glamour magazine, but who knows? Orgasms make you feel happier. Yes. Orgasms help you bond with your partner. Yes.
Duh.
10. Oh, there's more than 10. Orgasms relieve pain. Absolutely true, including cramps. So I was talking earlier that orgasms are recommended, for menopausal symptoms, but also have you heard that for periods?
Yes, of course I have, and I do that all the time.
And it helps with the
cramps. You don't need to have,
but sometimes you don't feel in the mood. It's a sort of vicious thing, isn't it? Because it would help you, but sometimes you just like feel so crummy.
I know.
that's not really the thing that comes to mind.
You don't feel sexy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. I feel that.
I
feel that. But it has to be like when you're like kind of like, you have to make the mood right. Maybe make yourself a nice cup of tea, put some little sexy jazz on.
That's not something that comes to mind as sexy.
Well, you gotta, because you want to feel good, you gotta feel warm. When I have a cup of tea, it kind of helps my cramps. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that, like, you feel warm, you feel better, you're alone in the house, it's all nice.
Fair enough.
But I mean, you can also, like, sex on your period helps your cramps.
Yes.
And if you want to do it, like, do it in the shower.
Yeah, I just think...
Maybe this is for the young people.
I think it also depends on how heavy your period is.
Yeah.
Because there are two issues with that. If you get very bad cramps, I've had really like doubling over cramps all my life. Even at my grand old age, I still get them. I'm getting to the end.
Right.
But it's still very uncomfortable. Yeah. And your whole... like that area of your body, around your obviously
your uterus,
is so bloated. I mean, I can feel my, I guess, uterus pumping. It feels horrible. It feels very bloated, and any sort of touch around there is just
worst.
Horrible. And the other thing, and this is really not glamorous at all, is when you have your period, you tend to poo more.
Right.
Because it releases your sphincter or something like that.
Sure.
So it's all these things that are like completely
like, fuck
not
off. Please do not
glamorous.
Touch me.
Like the poo, the bloating.
Oh, it's a lot.
The
blood.
And the blood.
It's a lot. This episode was not for the weak of stomach.
No, so if you're not interested in poo, and Believe me, I'm not a big fan of poo myself.
That's so funny. Say poo again. That's so bad.
During orgasms, your breasts get bigger. I have to say, sorry, that was funny. I was so shocked. Is that my boobs do not need to be any bigger.
I could use a cup.
I'm at an F.
Damn.
EF, depending on the day.
Woo! Look at you.
No, it's not good. And we were talking about suspension bridges earlier.
Yeah.
Is that it all starts to go nipple south.
Yeah,
Like it's not bing, it's
That's weird. I've never heard. Is it just like engorging them for a minute though? Like it's not going to make them permanently larger. There's no fucking way.
To use an English phrase, that sounds like total bollocks.
Total bollocks. I was waiting for that for you, Mel.
Your lips get fuller post orgasm.
Right. So like just for a minute,
blood,
I'm sure.
But I mean, come on.
Just the blood pumping
Yeah.
into your body.
Orgasms can strengthen your pelvic floor.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but I think your pelvic floor should be strong anyway. You have to do those exercises.
The Kegels.
Yeah, exactly. And
Well,
as you get
Kegels
older,
help your orgasm. They actually
Of
Kegels
course,
are
of
making
course,
your
yeah,
orgasm
yeah.
stronger.
But like you have to do them the older you get because especially after children and older you get,
Hold your pee in.
Yeah, it's really glamorous because then when you laugh,
I'm doing them right now.
Oh, fantastic. I was just thinking more about like a little pee comes out and it's so revolting. So
Oh my
it's
God.
like, it's not good. So then you have to do the thing to control. Yes, I can do them too.
You were
Yes.
doing them right now
Is-
too?
are you
Is
doing
everyone doing them?
them? Yeah. It's important.
Everyone should be doing their Kegels right now.
should.
This is a reminder. Do your
And you
Kegels
should
for
do them.
5 minutes.
I think I always did them.
Yeah, I mean, I
And
think
then-
for some reason I was taught at a young age to do them. I'm sure from like Cosmopolitan or something, reading an article about it. But yeah, obviously people should be doing their Kegels.
But I think if you...
And it's breath.
depends-
It's about breath work too.
And it depends what kind of exercise you did as well. Like I've always sort of... Because I did tons of ballet when I was young. I was a...
Yeah.
And so it's all about...
Yeah, so
it's
you,
this way.
when you breathe in.
But I'm just saying you're more conscious of your breathe,
Yeah. So when
Yeah.
I think when you
I think I've always innately done it because I remember
Yeah.
when I had my first child and they, whoever was telling me, the doctor, whoever, I can't remember, or you read it about doing your Kegels. I'm like, what? I'm like, I do those anyway. I don't know what you're talking about. And then all these people were like, oh yeah, I've started doing them. What do you mean you started doing them?
you haven't always done
That's
them.
bizarre.
I know.
But that's all about control.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway.
But then, yeah, no, it's very good to do your Kegels. It's very healthy to do your Kegels,
yes.
especially if you want a baby and everything like that.
Yeah, and you want to like post baby and getting older, stop the pee when you laugh.
Fucking Christ.
Because it does happen.
Jesus Christ.
It's not good.
No.
I mean, not like Niagara Falls, more like
just
a
like
little
a
dribble.
little squirt,
But it's not a sexy dribble.
little squirt.
I think squirt's making sound sexy, and it's not.
Right.
It's really a dribble. And it's pee, so it's not good.
Right.
But moving on, we're still talking about orgasms.
I liked Mel's fact check today. I think that was very helpful.
I think it is.
I
helpful.
didn't know any of those things that it could help your hair, your skin, your nails, or whatever the hell it is. It's pretty
I
amazing.
don't think I knew those, but it sort of stands to logical
It makes sense.
that
Yeah.
the stuff's pumping around
Your entire
body.
it obviously helps your entire body and your mental health function properly.
100%.
Whether you're doing it by yourself or with your partner.
100%. I mean, I think sort of one of the last things I would say about
Yeah.
this, and I think this is I think it's an age thing. I think as a young person, when I was younger, as sort of a young teenager, I don't think anybody talked about female masturbation.
Right.
I cannot think of a single conversation about it. I would have to really go into the dark recess of the misty past to try and figure out whether I'd had that conversation, but I really can't remember it.
Right.
Whereas I can remember however many conversations that your male friends about wanking. That's very
Yes.
English. But, like, I can't, it's just not something we talked about at all.
Yeah.
It was almost in a weird way, either that women didn't do it or just something you did, and people just didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
At all. And I'd say it wasn't probably until much later, like I'd say at least in my 20s, sort of talking about it. People didn't. I don't know why. Is it some kind of weird thing that we thought that women, was it sort of uncouth, that you don't talk about those sort of things?
Yeah.
But why is it okay to talk about a man? I don't know. But
Because I think back then, it's your flower. And you have to be very delicate with your
lady
little flower.
garden.
And yeah, men fucking didn't know about it. And it's like you said at the beginning, like Freud, right?
100%.
Like, and of course, if
100%.
if you're talking, and obviously this isn't true, but like, you know, if you're talking about one orgasm is more mature, if that's how you say it, than the other, it's fucking bullshit, obviously.
It's just
so that's why you don't talk about it. It's just all fucking bullshit.
It's so odd. But you do think, how peculiar is it that it's sort of 2022?
Yeah.
And only now people are sort of, I mean, obviously not this year specifically, but I mean, I'd say in recent years that people are talking about things like squirting and all this.
Yeah.
Like, people have been doing these things. Like, why do they suddenly talk about them? And that's interesting, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
so you think about the female orgasm, and I think maybe one of the reasons that we don't talk about it is because it doesn't have a sort of finite end. It's not something we can logically sort of pinpoint, whereas the man, you know, the penis goes up, blah, blah, blah.
It's all very obvious. Yeah.
It's all happening. Whereas a woman, nobody knows specifically, actually, even scientifically, where exactly do we have to put pressure, touch, whatever.
Because it's different for everyone. Yeah.
What actual movement, blah, blah, blah. I mean, if you think of art going back centuries, even thousands of years, where you sort of see these beautiful stone statues of these women in ecstasy, and they're actually religious statues. But that's what they're doing. They're having the old, you know, having a bit of...
Because also, an orgasm helps with your fertility. Yes. And to actually have a baby, if that's what you want.
Well, there was some... I watched this film, again, a really terrible film, that I watched it on the plane a few months ago, and it was about the Middle Ages, and it was something to do with, that's exactly, they thought that women only got pregnant if they had pleasure.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if that's a real thing.
That's obviously not true, because there's a lot of things that happen.
I'm not saying it's true, but I think it's what I think the film was set in like the 14th century. Like,
oh my God.
But I think maybe that was a thing. I mean, they had all these weird, confused things, and it doesn't matter whether, to be honest, it's then or now.
Yeah.
The mystery surrounding female climax, shall we say, is still so mysterious.
Yeah.
That we're still all baffled by it. Women are baffled by it. Men are baffled by it. We now keep talking about it, and women don't know, because, like I said, there's no finite answer. Some women, it's not a big issue. Some women, it is an issue.
Yeah.
Is it because of the partner they're with, or they're just doing that wrong, slight, whatever?
Yeah.
You don't know until you do the thing that works.
Yeah.
Whereas with men, it's a little bit more obvious, isn't it?
Unfortunately. Or fortunately, I don't know. If men had a hard enough time getting an orgasm, like, I don't know what would happen.
I think the
you know
world
what I
would
mean?
implode.
I don't know.
I mean,
it's a very interesting way to think about it.
Men can be so grumpy when they're...
The fact that it takes them literally 20 seconds, if not like, it's crazy to me.
Like, and they're so controlled by their nether regions, and if it's full, they're so grumpy that if you can imagine, if you had a world of men who couldn't figure out how to... I mean, we'd all be miserable.
Yes.
Because, I mean, I'm sorry, but men can be quite grumpy. So, and the older they get, the grumpier they get. So imagine that they had the same situation that women have, that it takes them a long time to figure it out, or sometimes it works and sometimes blah, blah, blah. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. Imagine. We'd be living in this grumpy-ass world. I mean,
Seriously.
the world's bad enough.
But that's also because not enough people are coming around the world.
I think that's probably true. And that goes back to our... Go and get yourself a vibrator.
Oh my God, please go and get a vibrator.
Go and use that discount code because you deserve it.
Treat yourself.
Yeah.
It's the world. The world is shit.
15.
Orgasm.
Yeah. Yeah. You need to do it. And do it for yourself. You know that L'Oreal ad? I'm worth it. You're worth it.
Oh, good for you.
You know?
Yeah. Is that L'Oreal?
I think so.
It's something like that.
I think it is.
I think it's L'Oreal. I don't know.
Something to do with I'm worth it. Isn't that L'Oreal?
You're worth it.
It's something along those
lines. No, I
lines.
like, yeah. Good for them.
Yeah.
What a great ad.
Yeah. Imagine if they did vibrator ads.
Oh my God, they would get me.
Yeah.
But I am worth it.
They never do it because we're all so ridiculous about all those kind of things. But anyway, that's for another conversation. So, darling, again, another conversation where we've resolved so much.
Yeah, I think we've actually saved the world with this one.
I think we have.
Yeah.
I mean, we could be going into a better world because of this.
Please, everyone.
I mean, it would be nice, wouldn't it?
After hearing this, give it to yourself.
I definitely think so. This is something
deserve
you
it.
can control and you can do for yourself.
Yeah.
So go out and buy that
vibrator.
friend.
Buy a vibrator. Figure it out with your hands too, because it's a double whammy. It's important to know how to use your hands.
But sometimes,
you can't get
doesn't
in the
work.
angle.
Yeah, sometimes.
Of course,
It's
always better to have more help than not. But sometimes it's nice to just use what you got.
What God has given you.
What God has goddamn given you.
Yeah.
And absolutely. There's vibrators for every level of person.
Absolutely.
Start with a small one.
Yeah.
Start with a rabbit. Go for the little sucky clit one. I don't know.
One that looks like a rose. That's one I saw recently.
I think it's called a womanizer or something.
And it's actually kind of disturbing because it looks like a rose and this little sort of tongue.
The rose thing,
it
the
looks
little
like a
tongue
cat,
thing.
and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds out there. You
Anyway,
get them all. You could try them all.
Try it. Don't let me stop you. But it just looks a little peculiar.
funny. That's really funny.
Anyway, I don't
Send
know,
us your reviews.
Tried it, but, yeah. Anyway.
Okay, love.
Get busy.
Get busy with it.
All right, darling. That's that for today.
So good to chat with you.
Amazing.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm happy we did this.
So am I.
All right, everyone.
Bye, everyone. See you next time for another.
See you next time,
chat
everyone.
With Mel and Susie. Thanks so much for listening. Please rate and review this podcast and follow us on social at Sharing My Truth Pod and leave us a voicemail on our website, sharingmytruth.com, to share your stories and experiences with us. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.